So I want you to try this first phrase with me. Try that a little bit. So you're on the open string. Beginners, just follow along, listen, get some notes. People with a little more experience, you're just on the open first string, and then swing your arm, and we'll get to that in a moment, but so you can start on an open E string, and then let's all sing it together now so you'll know what notes you're singing. You sing it with me. Don't worry, you're muted. Everybody's safe. Da, 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 da. Do that again. Da, 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 da. Sing it out loud. Nobody's listening to you. Da, 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 da. If you know what you're going to play, it's much easier to play. So here we go. And then, those of you who have a little more experience, slide in on the second string and get that E note with two strings. And the slide was one of the things that you heard that was so wonderful in Tommy's playing because it's syncopated out ahead. So we're going to start the note like this. Watch and listen, and then we'll do it together. See, that's with your pinky there. For that real old-time sound. Now do it together with me. I'm going to play this about 5 times. Okay, let's sing it again. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Again. Da 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 da. Daniel, you singing? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, there we go. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, now, good. I can't show you every move of the bow because every fiddler I've known who plays this tune has played it a little bit differently. And Mr. Jarrell had a complex bowing style, and not even he played the same way every time. Beyond that, here's something about traditional music. People sometimes say, oh, it's just got to be exactly within the tradition that way. Somebody, I heard it on a record or something years ago, has to be just exactly that way. My personal lived experience with all the old musicians is they are human beings just like everybody else, okay? Every single one of them who was worth any count at all had a unique sound within the tradition. You might have been able to hear some of their influences in their music, but each one of them sounded like themselves more than anything else. And all of your famous musicians who are worth anything, whose name you remember, all of them said if they heard a tune, they'd learn it from someone, but they would learn it their way. And they might have understood the basic rhythms of life of the region and the way music should sound. And within that framework, they were able to craft their own way of playing the tune. So I don't want you to worry too much about every specific of bowing. But what is important is to give this nice syncopated front at the phrase, and then have a little bit of drive to your bowing, and it'll come together. So you know it ends up on that A string, your second string, which is your tonic string of your A key. Let's do that one more time. A few more. Okay, good. Then, as a lot of you probably already know, a lot of our old time tunes work on a sort of a call and response structure where you'll establish a phrase and then the second phrase has part of it is copied from the first phrase and maybe a different ending. And once we point that out to folks, it becomes a whole heck of a lot easier to learn some of these tunes because you realize, oh, wait a minute, I already know half of that next phrase. It's already there. Okay? So here's what's going to happen this time. Watch and listen. And as you hear those three notes at the end, right down there on the tonic, a lot of people didn't play it that way, but Mr. Jarrell did, and that's what was special about his playing. I noticed that early on. He was always coming back to bass notes and to accompanying notes and grounding you in the music and having a sort of his own accompaniment. It made it very, very good dance music. Really, really good dance music. And here's how he executed it. Okay, and this time he ended up on the third string with his ring finger so that he had the third string and the second string playing the same note. That's an A note. So now let's sing that together. Come on. Three notes at the end, right? All on that A string. So watch how it's done. Now those last notes, you'll be best off if you can come into the first of those last three notes on an up bow. And a lot of these old fiddlers around Southwest Virginia and Northwest North Carolina ended their phrases that way. It's almost like a hornpipe style ending on a lot of these old tunes for their phrases. They did the same thing with tunes like Soldier's Joy and Sally Ann, a lot of them. So, and then your bow can just take off a little bit at the end, right? So, so work it around so you can get something like that. Now I'm going to play this first part about 10 times, and you all play along with me, okay? Okay, let's sing it again. Got to know what we're singing. Okay, now we can play it some. Okay, good. Does that accessible at least in your memory and all? You'll be able to carry that with you. Daniel, how's Daniel doing? He's good. Keep him coming along. He's 2 years old, getting into old time music. Perfect. That's what we like to see. He was eating supper while we were having our lesson here. That's fantastic. Okay, then now the next part of our first part is it's going to be completely stolen from the first part of it, just like I said. And there's one other thing I want you to catch before we go on to that. And this is an inherent aspect of this style of playing. Not every style is this way, but the round peak style was. It is very syncopated forward because it was dance music. So it's phrased so that it propels dancers forward around the floor. And if you're a flat foot dancer, it sort of propels you into the parts of the dance where you're off the floor, not on the floor. And it's wonderful. So that means that that first note is stretched way out ahead in front. So listen again now, and then I want you to try, as we go through this, to incorporate this into your playing. So we have several elements now. So it's, hear that? How long a note that is? That's because it's coming in from the end of your previous measure, really. Whoops, ouch. Again, right in the middle of the tune, see? That previous note gets pinched a little bit and you come straight in with your nice syncopation. So again, okay, so there's your first part. Now your second part of the first part is going to be the same first half of it, and then we have one phrase at the end which wraps the whole thing up. So here it is. So we're going to get to that in a moment. Sing it with me. So we've got another syncopation and a little syncopation at a place where it gets people up off the ground while they're dancing. And then it comes down underneath the bottom part and lands on that A string again. Okay, it's so important. He was playing melody and backing himself up. High notes against low notes, downbeats against a backbeat, sometimes as percussion. Now listen again. So you're up here, those of you with a little less experience, you're up here with your ring finger. And then we're going to slide on the second string and make a slide into sort of an upbeat. And catch that first string because it'll sound better. That's one of the most fun parts of this tune to play. I swear, it's just absolutely great. So give it a try with me. So you're going to come up here. So it's your fourth finger, then down to your index. Open string, and then a slide in the second string with your middle finger. And then off. And then index finger. Okay? Sing it with me. Da 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 do 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 do. Do it again. Da 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 do 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 do. Da 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 do 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 do. Now let's sing that on the fiddle. first part sounds like this all together. Let's sing it. All right. Sing as much as you can when you're walking on the street, when you're out and about. Sing your tunes. Then when you come home, you'll be amazed you can actually play them instead of wondering what they are. Way back yonder, long time ago, the old folks danced a do-si-do. Hooray, Jake, hooray, John, breaking up Christmas right straight along. Now, sing that with me. Way back yonder, you're muted, don't worry. Way back yonder, long time ago, the old folks danced a do-si-do. Hooray, Jake, Hooray, John, breaking up Christmas right straight along. There it is. Santa Claus come, done and gone, breaking up Christmas all night long. Hooray, Jake, hooray, John, breaking up Christmas all night long. Okay, so this is one of those old-time traditional tunes that has a low part that's kind of what I call a growler. All right, and it just has very few notes in it, and it's all about rhythm and phrasing. So here we go. It's going to be a little bit like this. You know what you're going to try to play now. And that's your whole part. Okay, so there's your second part, and with some of that bow rocking in there and your slide going on and nice syncopation at the beginning. I mean, there's so many details to this style. A lot of folks think, well, there's just nothing to these tunes, and they were very easy to play, but they don't come out sounding as great if you look at it that way. They are not complicated tunes melodically, but as far as making good music with them, they're some of the hardest in the repertoire as far as I'm concerned.